Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
So, who's paying attention to politics? Who ready to get Trump out of office? Woo! We got no Democrats? No Democrats? No Republicans? Y'all independent? Independent party? Alright, independent. That's cool. Alright, so if you're not paying attention to politics, Joe Biden is the Democratic, he's probably going to be the Democratic representative. And then you got Kanye West, if you want to go Kanye, he's an option. But Joe Biden is the man that everybody's behind, and he selected Miss Kamala Harris to be his vice president. So we're going to learn a little bit about her shortly. All right, but go ahead, play that video.
Come on in, the water is warm, Joe.
In April of 2019, then presidential candidate California Senator Kamala Harris was gently ribbing former Vice President Joe Biden, who hadn't yet announced whether he'd join the already crowded Democratic field. Just a couple days later, and Biden was all in.
That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy.
And the race was on.
Who knows Joe Biden, why he popular? Let me hear you, Brother Judah.
Shalom, he was Obama's vice president?
Right, so he was Aaron to Moses, all right? He was Barack Obama's vice president, so he automatically got clout with the black community. So black people, anything that's associated with Barack Obama got to be good, right? So Joe Biden, all right, go ahead.
Contentious moments between the two, often leading the news cycle.
Early frontrunner Joe Biden taking hits on stage from Senator Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris just knocked this guy on his seat.
It was clear to me when I watched that Kamala is not running for vice president. She's running for president.
Just over a year later, they've gone from primary sparring partners to political allies.
Y'all heard what they just said? They went from political foes to allies. So that's like, you know, this politics stuff, I'm telling you, it's all a joke. It's all a joke. Anybody that know politics, they'll tell you all the time, they are all friends. They are all friends. They put on a show when they go on stage, and then behind stage, it's all buddy this, and it's all a show. It's like the WWE. Any of y'all ever watch wrestling? You still watching? I thought I saw you. Oh yeah, I watch. Yeah, you watch? Okay, that's why you didn't make mental valor this week. All right, so you got WWE, and WWE, there's a script. Y'all know that, right? It's not real. There's a script. Somebody's writing a script. They create everything that you see. So The Rock is really not who The Rock is. Right. Stone Cold Steve Austin really didn't Stone Cold stun whoever. Big Show. It didn't happen. Go ahead. What you guys said on that?
So you saying Hulk Hogan ain't no real wrestler?
Hulk Hogan is not a real wrestler. It was all fake. They are great athletes, and they are great entertainers, but it's all scripted. Go ahead. Press play.
I don't hold grudges, and I've made it really clear that I don't hold grudges.
Mr. Biden fulfilling his campaign promise to choose a woman.
So one of his campaign promises that he's going to choose a woman. Give me that in Ezekiel 34. This is showing you, because politics is all a popularity contest. You have to win over the people. So one of his promises is he's going to vote, or he's going to elect a woman vice president. Interesting.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 31. And ye, my flock, The flock of my pastor are men.
The flock of the Lord's pastor is men. Letting you know, politics is not set up by God. Y'all understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
The Most High is not going to use politics to create a revolution amongst our people. It's not going to happen. Go to 31 and 22.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 22.
That ain't what I want. Where's what I want at? I want woman can pass them in.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, that's the one. Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31 and 22. That's what I want. Because this is what we're seeing. Instead of preferring to have a male candidate, maybe he might have said, I'm going to have a black vice president. He said, I'm going to have a woman vice president.
Yeah, because you got Cory Booker.
Right.
That was running. If you just wanted to have a colored person on your ticket,
right?
You know, you could have had a brother, a man. But no, that's not the direction he went.
No. Go ahead, read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
O thou backsliding daughter. Read.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
And that's how you know the Bible's true. It said this is a new thing. How do we know it's a new thing? He said he had to make it known. One of my promises is that I'm going to elect a woman to run with me. That's going to be on my ballot. To let you know this is something new that I'm going to do. Read.
A woman shall compass a man.
A what?
A woman shall compass a man.
So the second most important person on the earth is now going to be a woman. If they win anyway. Showing you that the world that we're living in is not set up by God. Go to Isaiah 29 and 16, I think it is. Isaiah 29. Yep, Isaiah 29 and 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down.
Your what?
Your turning of things upside down.
Your turning of things upside down. I say this all the time. Men, if you're in a 50-50 relationship with a woman, what's the real percentage? See who know math. Let me get the brother right there in the blue shirt. What's your name, bro?
Shalom Leadership, Brother Raphael.
Brother Raphael, all right. What you got? What's the real percent? Let's see your math game.
0, 100.
To what?
It's 0 to 100. That's the ratio.
I know.
Well, the woman has 100.
Oh, there you go. You're a wise man. All right. So, brothers, if you're in a 50-50 relationship, you really have 0% power. Understand that. The Most High didn't set up nothing to be 50-50. Who can give me the answer? How do we know that's true? How do we know that's true? The Most High didn't set up 50-50. Brother Judah.
1 Corinthians 11, also Genesis 3 and 6.
Let's get Genesis 3 and 16. Let's get that one first. And let's see if what Joe Biden is pushing in line with the Bible.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire,
and what?
Thy desire shall be to thy husband.
Thy desire shall be towards thy husband. Now, are we saying that a woman just sit down and sew and don't do nothing? Absolutely not. Hey, this is a beautiful thing. A sister gonna be in a position that she could be able to help our people. Pull up her husband. You know, what was that, Vashti?
Yeah.
Esther, she was a queen. She helped our people. So it's nothing wrong with her being in a position that she can help our people, if it was in order. But the 144,000, Christ ain't going to set up a sister to be in the 144 out there slaying countries. And that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to be no he woman out there. Sorry. It ain't happening. All right. Pull up a picture of them together so the people can understand. They might not get it right there. Hey, where? That first one. All right, what's the problem, ladies and gentlemen? What is the problem?
She's married to a so-called Jewish man.
Woo! So, Bishop made a great quote. He said, show me who you're married to. I'll show you who your allegiance is to. So, who is her allegiance? Is her allegiance to our people? No. She's showing you that by who she's married to. She is married to the enemy. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is why you can't create change in America's, doing it in America's system. It's not going to work. Give me Proverbs 11 and 21. So she's married to an Edomite. She's running with an Edomite. Who do you think she's going to stand up for? Esau. That's who her people, in her mind, that's who her people is.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand.
Though what?
Though hand join in hand.
Though hand joined in hand. Read.
The wicked shall not be unpunished.
The wicked will not go unpunished. So even though you try to join hand in hand, you try to join them in your marriage, you try to join them in your political life, you try to join them in your economical life, it's not going to work. That is not the way we are going to deliver ourselves. You got something?
Yeah, I gotta find it.
All right, so click on that article real quick. It says Jewish community vocal over Kamala Harris' Jewish husband. Wow. Out of all, it's one thing to be Esau, but then she's Jewish. All right, read that.
It says Jewish community vocal over Kamala Harris' Jewish husband. American Jews want to celebrate the Jewish ties of any famous person while they're still discriminating against the relationships that tie these individuals to the Jewish community.
All right, scroll down.
Did you know Kamala Harris' husband is Jewish? Did you know her stepkids call her Mamel? Did you see the video with her doing the cute impression of her Jewish mother-in-law? Did you hear that he broke a glass at their wedding? It is not surprising that the Jewish community is excited to be represented on the Biden-Harris ticket. Political leanings of the community aside, Kamala Harris' husband, Doug Emhoff, is a member of the tribe.
What tribe? What tribe is he a part of? Somebody tell me, please. What tribe is he a part of? Is he Judah? Benjamin? Levi? It don't say what tribe. Go ahead, keep reading.
And 2 of Joe Biden's children are married to someone who is Jewish.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But then when we say Jewish people run the world, they get mad at us. They say that's a lie.
Hey, check this out, Cap. Get Exodus 17 and 16. Get 17 and 8 and then jump down to 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim.
Okay, so this was as we were coming up out of Egypt. But jump down to verse 16. Let's see what the Lord said.
Verse 16. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
So you know what that makes Kamala Harris? An instrument of war. She is an instrument of war. So, as Cap is showing you, with her allegiance, do you really think that she is in the position to do something for us? So, that's, all of this is set up by design, okay? And that's what's coming out right now. So y'all pay attention.
All right, go back to the video.
Has named Ms. Harris as his running mate, which would make her the first black woman nominated for vice president by a major party. Her selection comes at a time of national reckoning on matters of race and justice. Here's how her career and life story brought her to this moment.
So in the middle of, it's pretty evident that us as a people, so-called whites, so-called black people, Israelites, that we are not together as a nation. They always try to present you with the solution like, yes, this can work. She's married to a white man. He is, he's taking her as vice president. so on and so forth. They always want to push that agenda on us. Go to Daniel chapter 2 and verse 42, I think it is. You know what I want, where it says iron won't mix with the miry clay. This is always the agenda with Esau. And that's how you know we're in another Idumean captivity. They always do this.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
So the kingdom, America, is partly strong and partly broken. It's partly strong because our military will never be touched or matched by anybody. And I said our military. Their military. I ain't got no military right now. Mine coming, it's going to be a big black man from the sky that can't be touched. But Esau's military can't be touched by anybody on the earth right now. That's how it's partly strong. Read.
Verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay.
Partly strong and partly broken. But it's broken. America is broken at the same time because as a nation we are always divided because of the way it was set up. It was set up with one people on top, one people on the bottom, and they can't change that. They can't change the fact that when they see a black man or a Hispanic man, they know that they brought us here on slave ships. That they exposed, not with the word, what's the word I'm looking for? Not expose, what's the other word? Exploit. They know that they exploit black and brown people for hundreds of years. And now they're living off of it. That's why it's partly strong, but partly broken. That wound is always there. It's always there. Slavery always reminds them that, yeah, everything that you did here, you got it from us. Read.
Verse 43. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Read.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
But what?
They shall not cleave one to another. Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
So no matter how much they try to push this agenda, it never works. Why? Because Esau has a perpetual hatred for us. We are two manner of people. Our spirits do not cling one to another. It just don't, no matter how much they try to make it work, it don't. They are vile beasts upon the earth. All right? Yes, sir?
Yeah. Pull up. I just sent you. Something on the IUIC radio.
Yeah. So around here, right there, it says Senator Kamala Harris' father accused her of disgracing her family by using fraudulent stereotype to say that she had obviously smoked marijuana because she's part Jamaican. Harris was asked on the radio show The Breakfast Club February 11th whether she had ever smoked weed. She jokingly responded, "Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?" She said she smoked a joint in college and didn't inhale. And I did inhale, she said, laughing. Her father, Donald Harris, a professor.
Stop. I want you to read this slowly. I want everybody to pay attention to what I just read. She's an instrument of war. I wasn't just saying that. Go ahead, read that again.
So her father, Donald Harris, a professor of emeritus of economics at Stanford University.
Wait a minute. Her father is a professor at one of the most prestigious universities, academic universities in the world, not just the United States. Go ahead.
Criticized his daughter in a statement to Jamaica Global Online last week. He said, "My dear departed grandmothers, whose extraordinary legacy I described in a recent essay on his website, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of pot-smoking joy seeker in the pursuit of identity politics," he said. Speaking for himself and my immediate Jamaican family, we wish to categorically dissociate ourselves from this travesty.
So, I want you to get right quick, Toby. I want you to get Toby. Right, I'll make it quick.
Hey, her father spit in his daughter's face the way he's supposed to.
Right, right. And that's why that scripture is there. Because you see how she so freely, and look, this is when you're trying to play both sides of the fence too. She get on the Breakfast Club, I gotta be black. And running for president, I gotta be white. Okay? So I want you to get Tobit, chapter 3, and verse 14 and 15. 15 is the point.
The book of Tobit, chapter 3 and verse 14. Thou knowest, Lord, that I am pure from all sin with men, and that I never polluted my name, nor the name of my father,
nor the what?
The name of my father in the land of my captivity.
So she says she never polluted her name nor the name of her father. Her father is going on record saying, you have disgraced our family. That's what you're dealing with. This is the type of woman that's going to be representing you if they win. And I ask again, do you think that a woman that has that type of character is really trying to do something to uplift our people?
And it's funny you say that, because he says that the father, which he's right, he said that she disgraced their family name in what she said. But he didn't have a problem with him marrying a Jewish dude. That's the bigger issue to me.
Yeah.
You didn't. I bet you he was at the wedding smiling, and because you know Jamaicans, they like them light skinned. They laugh. Yeah, right. They really racist. I've been to Jamaica 2 times. They what they call that stuff that make them whiter?
Cream.
Yeah, what it's called? Their skin. Yeah, they bleach. Yes, they look like ghosts. So Benjamin, I know y'all like that stuff. All right. But go back to the video.
My parents first met as graduate students at UC Berkeley, where they were active in the civil rights movement.
It runs in the family. You see, the father married an Indian woman. So it's nothing. They ain't got a problem with trying to mingle with the other nations. But then when you say you smoke weed, you got a problem with that.
Right.
Go ahead, press play.
My father, Donald, came from Jamaica to study economics. My mother, Kamala, came from India to study the science of fighting disease.
Ms. Harris grew up in Oakland, California, graduated from Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Anybody know what Howard is? Let me ask you this. Who does not know what an HBCU is? Raise your hand if you don't know what an HBCU is. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Raise your hand. Raise your hand so I can see. All right, good. Type in HBCU. I know Northern Kingdom Life. What is that? It's all right. It's all right. We're going to educate you. We're going to educate you so you know what's going on. All right. When you hear the term HBCU, read that, Officer Aaron.
It says historically black colleges and universities.
So HBCUs is a historically black college university because back in the day, we couldn't go to the other schools that we wanted to go to. All right, so we created our own, which most of them are created by white men, and most of them you'll see is A&M or it's tech. I mean, not tech. You see, they A&M, agriculture and mechanical schools. They would teach us how to work the fields. That was the original purpose when we came out of slavery. All right, but now you know they do a lot better now or whatnot. They teach you more things, but that's what it originated from. But go ahead and read that.
Historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, are institutions of higher education in the United States that were established before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 with the intention of primarily serving the African American community.
So we had a place of higher learning that was focused on us. So this is really, really good for us. Read.
Most of these institutions were founded in the years after the American Civil War and are concentrated in the southern United States.
Right, that's why a lot of them are in the South. It's like we got FAMU, we got Bethune-Cookman, we got Morehouse, we got Tuskegee. Y'all ever heard of Tuskegee Airmen? Y'all ain't heard of Tuskegee Airmen. You got Tuskegee Airmen, you got North Carolina, AT&T. It's a lot of schools, all right, but keep reading.
During the period of segregation in the United States, prior to the Civil Rights Act, The overwhelming majority of higher education institutions were predominantly white and completely disqualified or limited African American enrollment.
So the fact that she's from an HBCU appeals even more to what? To the black audience. Because now they really feel like this is somebody that's for us. She pledged, she the AKA, she went to a black college. So now they play on all those stereotypes to get you to vote for them. Meanwhile, she's married to a Jewish, she has a Jewish husband, and the president is a white man. But you don't see that. All you see is she's an AKA. She comes from an HBCU. Read that, there are HBCUs, there are 101.
There are 101 HBCUs in the United States, including both public and private institutions, down from the 121 institutions that existed during the 1930s. Of these remaining HBCU institutions in the United States, 27 offer doctoral programs, 52 offer master programs, 83 offer bachelor degree programs, and 38 offer associate degrees.
All right, so that's what an HBCU is. It's a college that's set up primarily for black people. All right, it's set up for us and Hispanics. Y'all can come too. Go back.
Then returned to California for law school. She became a prosecutor and was elected district attorney of San Francisco in 2004, and then in 2011, Attorney General of California. In 2017, she became the first black person to represent California in the U.S. Senate.
I say we must measure up to our words and fight for our ideals, because the critical hour is upon us.
In January of 2019, she announced she was running for president.
Let's do this!
On the trail, trailing Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders in the polls that spring, she voiced positions appealing to the party's progressive wing.
They say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
But it was Mr. Biden who was the frontrunner, and in a debate at the end of June last year, she took him on. Homing in on his record on race, the freshman senator confronted the former vice president for comments he made about working with segregationists in the Senate decades ago.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
I did not praise racist. That is not true.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education.
White people can't tell the truth. Y'all see, he couldn't give a straight answer. What the Bible say? What does the Bible say about giving answers? Yay or nay? He couldn't do that. She said, do you regret? I didn't do that. No, brother. Yes or no? Yes or no? In a multitude of words, what? Let's get that. Proverbs 10:9. I ain't like the answer. I ain't like the answer. Y'all got to know that one. Yeah. Back of your hand. Check.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 19. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin.
In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. Wanteth means that there's no lacking. There's no lacking of sin in the midst of the conversation. That's why when y'all see us teach, we say something, then what do? Scripture. We say something, what do? Scripture. In politics, do they ever use the Bible? No. What does Donald Trump do when he show up? This is my Bible. This is my Bible. And then he says whatever he say. It's just a political ploy. When they say they're Christians or whatever, it's a ploy. You will know if somebody uses the Bible when they open it and read it and interpret it. All right? Go ahead. Keep playing the video.
Mr. Biden, returning fire, raised questions about Ms. Harris's career as a prosecutor.
I was a public defender. I didn't become a prosecutor.
It was after that debate last summer that Ms. Harris hit her high water mark in the polls.
Kamala Harris surging to second place.
Speaking to the National Urban League, Ms. Harris defended her role as a black woman who worked in law enforcement.
Why do we only have to be on the outside, on bended knee or trying to break down the door? Shouldn't we also have a role on the inside, where the decisions are being made?
In one debate, Mr. Biden accused Ms. Harris of failing to disclose to defendants evidence of past police misconduct.
She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people.
This is simply not true. And as Attorney General of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice, I am proud of the work we did, work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reforming a criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades.
As summer turned to fall, Ms. Harris fell from the top tier. Her campaign was faltering. She was also failing to catch fire with black voters and her party's progressives. Then in December, she dropped out of the race.
My campaign for president simply does not have the financial resources to continue.
So, trust me, money was not an issue. She was the attorney general at one point. That means she make a lot of moves. She determined how things go down. What they say, listen, you fall out, Bernie's gonna be the man, and in a few months, you'll be vice president. And she said, yes, master. Whatever you say. All right, press play.
She is really a solid person. And we're loaded with talent. But I'm sure she's not dropping out and wanting to make the changes she cares about.
After Mr. Biden's big victory on Super Tuesday,
political earthquake. These are the results nobody saw coming.
I just wanted you guys to know
Ms. Harris told her supporters,
I am with great enthusiasm going to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States.
Y'all forgot the video that just happened about 30 seconds ago? What was going on? Huh? I told y'all, it's all, politics is a joke. It is not the solution for the black man and black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman. Go to Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 14. You get up there and say this person has all these issues with the way they carry themselves, and then you run with them. That's like me saying, hey, bro, I got a problem with you being an adulterer, a rapist, and a murderer, but I want to run with you. You good with that? We good. Let's get it, boys. Let's get it. No, that's not how you create change.
Right.
You don't do it like that. Read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 2 and verse 14. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things.
These are your prophets. These are your prophets. Kamala Harris, T.D. Jakes, Cory Booker. They modern day prophets. Read.
And they have not discovered thine iniquity.
Hold on, read it again.
Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. And they have not discovered thine iniquity.
So, these people have not discovered our sin. She said she spent time in the justice reform system. All that time she spent, all that research, she didn't realize that the reason why you locking up all these people is because they're in the midst of sin? Nope, she didn't realize that. Read.
To turn away thy captivity.
To do what?
To turn away thy captivity.
The solution is you must figure out what sins we are in, and you tell the people simply, stop committing the sins. That turns away the captivity. That is how you deliver your people. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Read it again.
To turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment.
That's what we see. False burdens and causes of banishment. Politics, that's a false burden. Justice reform, weed reform, educational reform, new state commissioner, all that stuff is for the means of this world, but it's not going to liberate the minds and souls of our people. It's that simple. Go ahead, press play.
I believe in Joe.
Back in the Senate, in the aftermath of George Floyd's killing while in police custody, she became a leading Democratic voice for reforming law enforcement.
Where is the accountability and consequence when they abuse that power? Our bill is designed to address just that. We are seeing people putting their bodies on the line in the face of more excessive force and tear gas to stand for equality for all people.
Now, the 55-year-old senator joins Mr. Biden for an unpredictable 3 months.
This movement will not accept anything less than real, substantial, substantive solutions.
It's a new chapter in her career, coming at a time when the movement for racial justice, and now she herself, are at the forefront of American politics.
So I just wanted to show y'all a little bit of the hypocrisy of politics. Go ahead, what you have, sir?
Yeah, I want you to get Psalms 50, but I want to pull that verse that you pulled, Proverbs, to set it up, about hand joining hand. Is that Proverbs 11:21? Yeah, read that, and then I want you to go to Psalms 50 and 16.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
So her hand is joining in politics with Joe Biden, right? Okay, let's see what the Most High says about these people here. Psalms 50 and 16 to 20.
The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked.
Unto who?
But unto the wicked. God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Because Joe Biden is probably running under being a Christian, and her husband under a Jewish man, right? Okay, read on.
Verse 17. Seeing that thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee.
Read.
When thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him. And consentest with him.
What does that mean when you consent to something? You agree. You cool with it. Go ahead.
And has been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son.
And you know what she's saying? I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. As long as I can get that seat right there. This is what y'all got to look forward to. This is what we got to look forward to.
Go to the article that I sent you. The other article.
Or you can have your man Trump.
Right. Keep Trump in office. What else you got to lose?
Right.
All right, read this.
Kamala Harris has been tough on black people, not crime.
So, not only is she married to the Jewish man, she has a bad track record when it comes to dealing with Jake in the prison system. Let's read about it.
A couple months ago, I was chilling at my partner's house watching football. During a commercial break, we started talking about Kamala Harris, and my partner's older cousin shouted, "Kamala Harris, she's been locking niggas up at Renee," referring to Oakland Courthouse, since way back in the day, and was doing it with a smile on her face.
So she has a long track record of arresting black men. Remember, who is her husband? It's a white man. Remember, show you who you married to. I'll show you who your allegiance is to.
You know what's crazy about that Cap too? She went to Howard.
Yep.
She went to Howard and came up out of Howard, not with a black husband, but went to Abilene.
He wasn't wrong. Kamala Harris has spent her career as the district attorney of Amelia County, San Francisco, and the attorney general, aka the top cop of California. As someone from the Bay Area living in Oakland, I am constantly reminded of her history of locking up black people in the Bay Area. Her track record consists of terrorizing black communities through the prison industrial complex, and she has consistently shown herself to be an enemy to the masses of black people. While I admit the symbol of having a black woman as president sounds nice, it doesn't exclude Kamala from being critiqued. I operate under the political belief that there are no good presidents. Presidents are just figureheads for the white supremacist settler colonial state. I aim to have principled critique of her record that advances black political thought. Yet Twitter has been full of misogynist critiques of Kamala. It is important we critique her while avoiding misogynoir as there is no place for misogynoir in the black liberation movement.
So he's saying it don't matter if she's a woman or not. We're just trying to move the black people forward. But what I wanted y'all to get out of that was that this woman has a track record of locking black people up. Go to Isaiah 51. Hidden in prison houses. 42 and 22.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. And they are hid in prison houses.
They are what?
Hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivered, for a spoil, and none saith restore.
So our people are hid in prison houses. But a lot of our people, we get mistaken when it's happening, and it's happening at the hands of our own people. We don't think black people would do something bad to our own people. Let's go to the book of Maccabees, chapter 11 and verse 21. First Maccabees 11 and 21. I think that's what I want. Yep. This is nothing new. Our people have always had an affinity with the enemy. No doubt about it. We love our oppressor and we do anything to please our people. We want to be hand in hand with the oppressor, even though they don't want us. But we want to. Read that.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 11 and verse 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people.
Who did what?
Hated their own people.
Who did what?
Hated their own people.
Now, the things written aforetime was written what? For our learning. For our learning. So guess what? If people hated their own people back during the Grecian captivity, do we have those same people today? Absolutely. How do we know that? Judas, a few years later, sold out Christ, the Messiah. The movie, get the movie, what was it called? Just type in Black Panther movie, and it'll pop up. I want to show y'all something. But the spirit of hatred among our people is nothing new. Everybody that you see on the TV screen, everybody that you, scroll down. Oh no, no, Black Panther gonna pop up. I forgot about that movie. Type in Black Panther Party movie.
Black Messiah.
What is called, Black Messiah? The one that's coming out. It's finna come out. Scroll down. It's on Fred Hampton. Yeah. Judas. Type in Judas. Is that it right there? Yep, there you go right there. Yep, type that in. And this is going into First Maccabees, because I'm showing you, click on it. I just want to look at it. So, this trailer, Fred Hampton was sold out by, what was the man that sold him out? William O'Neill, all right, by William O'Neill. So that spirit of hating your own people has always been on the earth. And this movie, this is going to be a powerful movie. We're going to go see it, Lord's will, when it come out, if the COVID ain't still kicking. But Lord's will, we see this. All right, press play.
Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois Black Panther Party.
Repeat after me. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
Y'all see who in the crowd? Esau. The Black Panther Party was infiltrated. It was infiltrated but it started amongst our own people. Judas had to go bring the Pharisees and scribes and the Romans to Christ. That's nothing. It always happens. That's why when somebody come in, they say they don't want to do something. Bye-bye. You can go. We know we already got agents in here, but hey, if you want to be a rebellious one, you really got to go. All right, but go ahead, press play.
You're looking at 18 months for the stolen car.
Y'all remember, I don't know if y'all remember a few months back, remember Bishop played a recording of the brother that had the same situation. I forgot, they tried to plant something on him, and they gave him that same exact deal. The things written aforetime and what happens in the past, it's the same stuff that happens. The same exact stuff. Go ahead.
5 years for impersonating a federal officer. Or you can go home.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
There it is. What'd he say? What'd he say? Rainbow Coalition. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. And I ain't gonna touch the NFAC because that dude there is a doggone agent. But oh yeah, press play.
Their aim is to sow hatred and inspire terror.
I will learn all that I can.
These ain't no terrorists.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
That movie gonna be bad. I can't wait. Both of them, they're really, really good actors. What movie did the brother play on? Yeah, he was on Get Out, the one that's playing William O'Neill. And then we all know, what's the brother's name? No, the other one, the one that was playing Fred Hampton.
He was on Get Out. So his name is Daniel something.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but he's a good actor. Them some good actors right there. But type in William O'Neill real quick. Quick history lesson. All right, read that, officer. Because keep in mind of the context of why we reading this. Read 1 Maccabees real quick. Read it again, 10 and 21, or 11 and 21.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 11 and verse 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people, hated their own people.
Hated their own people. So now I'm giving you a real world example of this happening hundreds of years later. And it's going to continue to happen. Go ahead.
O'Neill achieved lasting infamy in 1973 when his role in the 1969 raid in which the Black Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were murdered was revealed. Though O'Neill was a Panther inside the point, and Panther insider to the point where he was in charge of security for Hampton and possessed.
He was the head of security. So did he play an important position? Yes. Judas, what was his position? He was the treasurer. He carried the bag. So I'm telling you, that's why the stuff that happened a few years back with the brothers that left, it's nothing new. Those spirits are always there. That's why it says, many false brothers. That spirit is in the earth. It's always going to be there. That's the only way you prove the righteous from the wicked. It got to be people that are loved. I'm pretty sure that brother had a lot of pull in the Black Panthers. All right, go ahead. Keep reading them.
Though O'Neill was a Panther insider to the point where he was in charge of security for Hampton and possessed keys to the Panther headquarters and safe houses, he was at the same time serving as an informant for the FBI. Among the information, the teenage O'Neill fed his FBI contract Damn, I'm sorry. His FBI contact was the floor plan for Hampton's West Side apartment that was used to plan the fatal raid.
So, William O'Neill set up Fred Hampton, all right, and he was the head of security at one point for the Black Panthers. So that spirit of hating your own people is very, very prevalent amongst our own. And we see it throughout history time and time again. What's the name of the brother? Can't think of his name right now, but in Africa, I forgot. But his best friend killed him, set him up to be killed as well. Not Uganda, but I can't think of the name of it.
Gaddafi?
Nah, not Gaddafi. So where was we going? Go back to why did we go to ungodly persons that hated their own people? Yes, we're going into Kamala Harris in politics. All right, go to how he died, Fred Hampton. I mean, type in Fred Hampton so people understand who he was as well. Yep, click on his Wikipedia. All right, read that. Give you another shot.
Frederick Alec Hampton was an American activist and revolutionary socialist. He came to prominence in Chicago as the chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party and deputy chairman of the national BPP. In this capacity, he founded the Rainbow Coalition, a prominent multicultural political organization that initially included the Black Panthers, Young Patriots, and the Young Lords.
Now, I don't know who the Young Patriots. Click on the Young Patriots. Let's see who that is. That's the Young. That's the Esau.
The Young Patriots organization was an American left-wing organization of the 1960s and 70s, growing out of a student for a democratic society project called Jobs or Income. Now its first leaders included Doug Youngblood Blakely, the son of Peggy Terry Jackson.
Yeah, sound like some European names. All right. So I would assume that this was the Esau part of the Rainbow Coalition. Go back to the.
Yep, that's what it says down there. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go back a little bit.
What did it say?
Scroll down.
It says.
Yeah. Started originating.
Originating in the uptown neighborhood in Chicago, the organization was designed to support white migrants from the Appalachian region.
There you go. So the Young Patriots was
hillbillies.
Right. So go back to Fred Hampton. All right, read that.
What was that? Black Panthers, Young Patriots, and the Young Lords, and an alliance among major Chicago street gangs to help them in fighting and work for social change.
So, the reason why Fred Hampton, do the math, what's 1948 to 19? Go back up. Yep, 21. He was 21 years old when he was killed. 21. Bishop went over this a few weeks back, but when you see revolutionaries, these men that was in the 60s and 70s, and they not dead, if they still alive, 9 times out of 10, they sold out at some point. Because if you was a real revolutionary, as we see, and the track record continues to go, you dead. That's what happens. And that's what a lot of brothers don't understand in this walk. And that's why when we do security, this is serious business. We are public enemy number 1. That's what it is. We are public enemy number 1, especially IUIC, because we unite all the 12 tribes. A lot of camps, they don't think Northern Kingdom is Israelites. I don't know why, but they don't read the Bible or know history. But we are uniting a lot of people. How many people are Israelites? Let's see. See if y'all read this week. How many Israelites are there? Huh? 10? I heard one answer. What you got, Elishaya? What'd you say? What scripture?
Hosea 1:10.
Let's get that. Hosea 1:10. Let's get that.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
So we are the sand of the sea. Remember, when you read COINTELPRO, it says They are looking for somebody that can unite the people. So whenever you have that quality, understand you are a threat. You are a threat to society. And guess what? 1 Maccabees 11 and 21 will be enacted. There will be people amongst you that hate their own people that will sell you out. We see it all the time. I saw somebody commenting on a post, one of the ads we have for the Booster Club. Well, y'all can't travel right now. What are y'all doing? Huh? Where's the money going? You serious? Eventually, it's going to be lifted. You didn't see the 34 different countries we hit already? Oh, maybe they forgot about that. I don't know. Meanwhile, when you run for president, you collect money for years. You collect billions. And then when you become president, you don't do anything. Nobody say a word. Black Lives Matter got how much millions? How many millions we said they had? I think it's like 300-something million, right? Ain't seen nothing. Nobody got a problem with that.
You know what's crazy about that too? Anybody ever worked the polls? Anybody ever worked the polls? You get paid for that? You get paid a lot? No. But how much do these politicians make?
Right.
A lot of money.
Own money.
Right? A lot of money. But yeah, like you said, where are they questioning that?
They don't question nothing about politics. How many of y'all know what lobbying is? Raise your hand if you know what lobbying is. Okay. See, the brothers and sisters don't quite know. Pull up lobbying real quick.
Hey, that's what shows, you know, I'm going to show my age, but they don't have Schoolhouse Rock no more.
This is why I despise politics. This is one of the major reasons. Type in lobbying. L-O-B-B-Y-I-N-G. No, not a lobby. Lobbying. Lobbyist. Type. Yep, lobbying. There you go. All right, it's going to be some big words, officer.
Lobbying. In politics, lobbying, persuasion, or interest representation is the act of lawfully attempting to influence the actions, policies, or decisions of government officials.
So, pause. It's the act of influencing politicians legally. Now, how do y'all think they influence them? Don't ask if you know what lobbying is. Is it they bake them a cake? They give you, hey, I give you a free back rub. How do y'all think they lobby? Or influence people? Legally. All right, let me hear a soldier. Yeah, they pay them off. There you go. You can pay a politician to push a bill that you want. So guess what happens when your people don't have money? You think your views are heard? No. How long this one is? All right, yeah, go ahead, press play. Let's see what this one says.
For the last few years, I've had this sense that everything I learned as a kid about how America's government works is completely wrong. But I had no idea how bad things actually were until I saw this one graph. Researchers at Princeton University looked at more than 20 years worth of data to answer a pretty simple question. Does the government represent the people? Now, this is what they found. This axis here represents public support for any given idea. On the left at 0% are ideas that not a single American wants. On the right at 100% are ideas that everyone supports.
All right, everybody understood that? Everybody understood that? On the far right is what the people want. On the far left is what people don't want. All right, press play.
This axis represents the likelihood of Congress passing a law that reflects any of these ideas, from a 0 to a 100% chance. On this graph, an ideal republic would look like this. If 50% of the public supports an idea, there's a 50% chance of it becoming law. If 80% of us support something, there's an 80% chance. You get the idea. Now, most Americans would probably agree that, with a few exceptions, we should be as close to this ideal as possible. Unfortunately, the way America actually works doesn't even come close. Take an idea that nobody supports, literally nobody, and it has about a 30% chance of becoming federal law. Now, take an incredibly popular idea, the most popular idea this country has ever seen, and there's also about a 30% chance of it becoming law. This means that the number of American voters for or against any idea has no impact on the likelihood that Congress will make it law.
Y'all heard that, right? What the people want don't matter. Just like who the people want in president don't matter. What is it called? The Electoral College. All right, personally.
Put another way, and I'm just going to quote the Princeton study directly here, the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. So if you've ever felt like your opinion doesn't matter and that the government doesn't really care what you think, well, you're right. But there's a catch. This flat line only accounts for the bottom 90% of income earners in America. Economic elites, business interests, people who can afford lobbyists, they get their own line. Look at how much closer their line is to the ideal. When they want something, the government is much more likely to do it. And when they don't, they have the power to completely block it from happening, no matter how much the rest of the country supports it. They get what they want, and guess who ends up paying for it? We pay for it with the most expensive healthcare in the world. We pay for it with a tax code that's a complete mess. We pay for it with internet that's slower and more expensive, with wasteful spending, a floundering education system, a catastrophic drug war, and 1 in 5 American children born into poverty. Almost every major issue we face as a nation can be traced back to this graph. How does this happen? Well, just follow the money. Right now, it's perfectly legal to buy political influence in America.
That's what we just read, right? Remember, it's legal to lobby. He said it was the media, but he had the wrong M word. It's the money. It's the money. They can pay for what they want you to push. Go ahead.
Here's how it works. Let's say a big bank wants a law that would force taxpayers to bail them out again if they repeat the exact same reckless behavior that crashed the global economy in 2008. Not exactly the most popular idea with the public, and Congress knows that. That should be the end of it. But that's where the money comes in. It's perfectly legal for our bank to hire a team of lobbyists whose entire job is to make sure that the government gives the bank what it wants. Then those lobbyists can track down members of Congress who regulate banks and help raise a ton of money for their re-election campaigns. It's perfectly legal for those lobbyists to offer those same politicians million-dollar jobs at their lobbying firm.
So, y'all get the idea? A little bit? Okay, we're gonna do a whole lines then on this. But basically, what he's showing you, what you want, you pay the politician, they get it pushed. And it's legal. It's absolutely legal to do this in America.
We used to scream Black Power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. I.U.I.C. has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. I.U.I.C, we deliver the truth.